even when you're down inside.
Hello everyone, welcome to round 2 of NGS. I am excited. Things are running a little bit behind, as I'm sure you guys saw. Unfortunately, my timer was inaccurate. It happens. Teams lost track of time and were warming up for too long. Whatever, it happens. I am not against it in the slightest. I have done it plenty of times. Sudden viewer jump. Thank you guys very much for joining me. I am excited. So while we wait for the map to be decided and the map to be decided and the room to be created. Sorry, I'm running into a little bit of issues, but it looks like I'm good. I'm gonna go ahead and go over these teams a little bit. So it seems, based on a little bit of looking ahead, it seems like Citrus is a fair amount of ex-Phoenix Rising people. I'm very excited to see how that goes. Psistorm is slightly favored for this game, but that doesn't mean... Ah, thank you. I thought I changed that. I did change it, I just forgot to press update. But yeah, so Psistorm Banshee is slightly favored, but considering it's only 1 week into the season, that tells us nothing. Because it could have been that Psistorm was up against the weakest team of this division, and Citrus was up against the strongest team of the division. Things are far too early for that to mean anything, so do not feel bad cheering for who's technically the underdog here. So, speaking of, I am going to go ahead and start a prediction. It would be game 1. Storm. And, sorry, I have these on the wrong side. Bitch, Frost. Wish. And Psistorm. Win. And we'll go ahead and set that to 2 minutes. Probably won't be too much longer. Before people... Cool. Awesome. Looks like we are ready to go. I'm going to go ahead and confirm with the teams. Feel free to drop your predictions. I'm stoked. I'm very stoked. We'll have to see how this goes. Like I said, we've got what looked to be fairly experienced players on both sides. So this will be an interesting one, to say the least. I'm going to just let them know that Caster is ready. And we're ready to go whenever they are. So, looks like we only got, didn't see any. Yeah, no predictions yet, so go ahead and drop your predictions. I will be excited to see them. So we've got you, we've got... Let me just confirm the players we've got. I'm excited. Cool. You know, I'm very excited. Div B is usually very interesting too. Like, I know Div D was interesting, but it's interesting for completely different reasons. Because once you hit B, that's when you have the people who are starting to show up who actually, like, know what they're doing, and meta really matters. It's not just about comfort picks. And so you see a little bit less variety in the drafts, but significantly more interesting in the, in how things work on the map and stuff like that. And especially considering the map we're going to, this is going to be interesting. I'm going to be very excited to see how this plays out. Does look like our predictions are closed and very one-sided for the favored team. we'll have to see how things play out. What's holding us up? I don't know what's holding us up, but we're ready. Looks like both teams are having some issues still. So, but yeah, thank you very much, GG Valera, for joining the chat. Oh, and the follow too. Thank you very much. That puts us one off from our goal. Very excited. We do have a lot of matches going on after this. Banshees can definitely play at a div, or at div A level. So this should be a really match against PR. Really good match against PR. Okay. I will take your word for it, Valera. I wasn't able to scout as much as I'd like to. Things were a little rough ahead of time. Had to fix some technical problems from not last week, like 4 days ago. Both teams are asking. You know things are going well when both teams ask R of the other team. Wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. So it looks like we're gonna get into things, so I'm gonna go ahead and look at the map. So, we had Citrus versus Psistorm. Citrus is the home team, decided to bet on Tails and won. They decided to go for first pick, which means Psistorm decided that we are not going to... Why are the maps not showing up? Or final map. There we go. Psistorm decided that we are not going to Sky Temple nor Tomb of the Spider Queen. Citrus decided we are not going to Alterac Pass, nor are we going to BOE. And we are instead going to... be going to Cursed Hollow, picked by Psistorm Banshees. Speaking of, the draft begins. My audio on my stream yeeted itself last week as well. Yeah, it was only the in-game audio for me, so we will have to see. Hopefully everything behaves itself today. I'm really curious, because Cursed Hollow, it's a very big map, but the team fights are also very important. But technically you only have to win every other, so it's very likely to see something Alexstrasza, which basically wins every other team fight, or any number of very interesting things like that. Brightwing, absolutely makes sense. Big map, globals are always rough, and Brightwing seems to be pretty strong nowadays anyway. Pretty high priority to ban out. Now I'm curious. See, I don't know how much scouting they did. So there was a few things I saw in scouting. Dahaka ban out, that makes sense. Again, big map. And again, very strong right now. So, pretty standard bans. It does not look like either team did much scouting on the other. But like I said, Citrus is made of primarily... I'm okay with the Perpetual Lucio music. Yep. Yeah, a lot of people like it. I just picked it randomly because I was looking for HOTS music for the draft and I wanted something upbeat. And I found this track and I was like, yeah, it's fun. And we're rolling with it. Jimmy Bob. Hey, welcome. Speaking of last week, welcome back. Johanna ban absolutely makes sense here. So yeah, it looks like pretty textbook. I don't think anything's targeted yet. We'll probably see some more interesting bans. Yeah. Textbook, all 3 globals off the game. Does mean we might see a Deathwing, though, because he is technically a global. He's a little slower than others. If I'm looking for a global, I usually go to Dahaka before Deathwing, but Deathwing is definitely on the table, and with the tight quarters and stuff, he really does like this map. But instead, it looks like Ace is going to be picking up Blaze on the right team here. I'm very curious to see... So I'm going to try something else once we get into the actual game. So I'm very curious how well it'll work. Just fair warning, if it looks like absolute garbage, it is a temporary thing. Yeah, I'm very curious. Looks like Anduin, that makes sense. Junkrat. A lot of people like him on this map. I'm a little iffy with him on this map, I'll be honest. Oh, I have some people on the wrong sides. Let me fix this. But yeah, lots of long range at the moment on the left side. Sylvanas Diablo. See, I'm not a big fan of Sylvanas on this map either, because the objective takes care of it for him. Illidan Global? Doubt it. I doubt we'll see an Illidan. Not at this division. XX here on Junkrat. Stukov ban. Interesting, interesting. I'm not sure. Junkrat's broken. He must have had an update that I wasn't aware of, because I didn't think he was all that busted. Sylph was also broken. I don't know. I've not followed many of the updates. I'm like 2 or 3 versions behind, but I've not been impressed with them in the games I've played against them and with them personally. Not to say that they're not, just I've not noticed it. And again, I feel like she just doesn't have a trait on this map. And she's really balanced around having her trait. I don't know. Could be wrong. I will take... Just need to get better with him because he got nerfed the last time he was touched. Fair enough. Who's... I don't have some of the members of left team listed. I might need to say something to them. But either way, I'm not going to worry about it right now. It's just slowing things down a little bit. You picked Lucio, and you picked Hanzo. Alright. About medium range draft versus a very long range draft. I take it back. Nah, both sides are pretty well balanced in terms of the ranges. Go ahead and update that. Sorry, things are going a little slower. I'm playing around with some new tools, so thank you for bearing with me. But curse lasts 2 minutes at a time. You figure 2 curses make 3 in a game. Fair, Valir. I mean, okay. You have a point. I'll take the L. Still not typically my go-to hero on this map. Alrighty. Let's see how well this works. So, for the left side here, we have Citrus. With... I'm losing track of everyone. Pina Colada on Leoric, Toasty Buns on Anduin, Luna on Junkrat, Apple Mike on Greymane, and MBB on Varian. As for the right side, Psistorm Banshees, we have... I can't track them all moving. We have Metho on Diablo, Storm on Sylvanas, Lamort on Hanzo, Ace on Blaze, and I Like Summer on Lucio. A little bit of aggression going on in the early game here, which makes sense for Psistorm. with Varian not quite being a real hero at this point. No, no, Valir, I love talking theory crafting too. I'm being dramatic for the sake of entertainment. Do not feel bad in the slightest. So it looks like we're going to be having ranged offlaners in both lanes, possibly an ace gank here? Nope. He saw it coming from a mile away. But it looks like we're going to have a ranged versus offlane in both of the lanes here, which is going to be a little rough. Blaze should be able to handle the poke, I think, a little bit better than Leoric, unless he took... No, he took Austin's, which makes sense. So he will have a little bit of trouble dealing with the poke that'll be coming out from either of the ranged offlaners, whereas Blaze can just kind of sit in some fire for a bit. And he actually seems to be trading with the Junkrat pretty well, all things considered. Yeah, no, lots of aggression against the Junkrat, which makes sense when going up against a ranged solo laner. And yeah, here is the poke I was talking about, the poke value. So he's gonna have to sip. Wasn't sure if he was going to there. Which is gonna put him in a bit of an awkward position, and he has to deal with this Hanzo. Love this play. Absolutely love this play. It might get sniffed out, but I absolutely love the play of picking up this siege camp and not actually picking it up. If it gets sniffed out, it's a little risky. Little early team fight going out here. No talent here, but Sylvanas will go down in a matter of seconds. By that, I mean a matter of microseconds. Just too much damage coming out, and the camp does get stolen, and probably first objective will be free for Citrus here. Now, the question is, does this bottom camp get picked up with minimal value, or does it get sniffed out as well? Because we've got a lot of siege coming out here, a lot of very early aggression. This is looking like a very possible just non-stop snowball coming from Citrus. To be fair, I feel like Psistorm is a little reliant on their 10s to deal with what's coming out from Citrus at this point. So the question is, can they stall till 10? Probably they can. My word, Greymane! Taking half health just from towers, trying to dive in there. But we don't have anyone catching this bot soak for blue team right now. That's gonna be a little bit of XP lost. It looks like it's covered for the most part, though. There's the Sylvanas trait. Lots of damage onto the Leo. He might actually go down here, and he does. Very early death for the Leo. He shouldn't miss too much. He should be back up easy enough. Storm does get traded out as well. But Apple here, Greymane, does not really have enough health to keep fighting, but he doesn't care, taking out Hanzo, getting flipped by the Dibbles for absolutely nothing. My teams are backwards? They shouldn't be. Okay, I'm going to assume teams are backwards. I think I have a flip teams button. That should have worked. It worked! Fantastic. Kind of explains why I was having issues with the player names a little bit ago. Either way, it does look like we're actually going to see a fight for this objective. CCS is a little scattered at the moment, but should be alright. Diablo taking some free damage. Not really going to be doing much for his team here. Taunt onto the Hanzo. Lots of damage and immediate blow up. That's the taunt variant for you. Not sure I agree with that pull. That's a pretty long cooldown, but probably won't be needed again anytime soon. Lucio getting out by the skin of his teeth. Diablo, not so lucky. Hero slain. So that is 2-0 objective-wise for Psistorm. However, just because it's 2-0 for Psistorm doesn't mean much, as 10s will be available meaning that if CCS was reliant on their objectives, or on the 10s, like I think so, they should be alright for the coming fights. This is still a relatively free boss for Psistorm here. They should still be able to get tribute. Sylvanas getting some free damage in the bot lane here, as well as some free soak. May not be able to get 10s in time for this objective and clear the boss. We're seeing a lot of snowballing here. And CCS has their work cut out for them. And speaking of, there goes Junkrat. Lots of scattered death. For both sides. Like, this is just a bloodbath. How many deaths are we at? Yeah, 6-2. Like, I thought there was more deaths, more kills on CCS. Probably because I had the teams turned around. But my ineptitude is not what you're here to see. So both teams do have 10s. This is same talent tier. However, this is a blue team boss coming in from the bot lane here, underneath a curse. So this is gonna be rough. I'm gonna be honest right here. I don't see how CCS comes back with any less than a miracle. Like, this is not gonna be a game where you have to win just one team fight. This is gonna take some work. Now, CCS has shown some decently high-level plays so far, so I'm definitely convinced they can do it, and if not this game, the next game. Sylvanas will go down there during the boss fight, though. There's the Entomb. Diablo popping his shield to try and survive, but he's just going down too fast, and goes squish. Hanzo Arrow not going to be enough to save him. Diablo does not have souls, which means he is down for the next few seconds. This may actually be a very early game, which is going to do some serious damage to the morale of CCS here. They've got to stop this, if for no other reason than the morale of future games. Like, even if they lose, losing this early will demolish your morale, and I don't see how you come back from that psychological game. APOC does come out completely disassembling Psistorm. Psistorm has basically no health and no chance to finish for sure. Lots of damage going out. Junkrat is, yeah, very dead. Leo is even more dead. Good Entomb, though. There's the Diablo slapping the Entomb angrily. So this is definitely... That fight definitely should have helped their morale. I'm a little concerned about their morale going forward. Like, that's something that a lot of people don't take into consideration, especially casters, is just how much morale can change the game. Like, I remember a set that my team absolutely should have been able to come back from, but we were all just so thrown off after game one, and we just could not pull ourselves together. So what we're looking for right now is CCS to keep a cool head, acknowledge that they were weak earlier, but definitely, in my opinion, have the stronger 10s. So if they can keep the cool head, they can probably turn this. XP is still even. Structures are very much in favor of Psistorm. Team fights have been in the side of Psistorm, but this is a 0-0 objective fight coming up. This could seriously mean pretty much anything. This could still go in favor of CCS. They're going to have to put in some work, though. It's definitely going to take some work. Do not get me wrong. Posturing for this fight. Cursed Bullet does already come out. Thank you guys very much for meeting my goal. I will go more into that in between the games, because we do have a team fight here. Hanzo Arrow does come out, completely shutting down the blue team yet again. Lots of damage. Like I said, the 10s are just more in favor of CCS here, and there's just so much damage coming out onto Psistorm. So much damage coming out in return, though. But CCS is just chilling right now. Still pretty high health. Diablo is the exception to the rule, going a little squish there. But this is CCS's first objective, and this is exactly the kind of team fight they needed to come back in this game. It's a strong team fight, puts them in a strong position. They probably lose top fort. Blaze should be able to save it. They get a fair amount of siege out here. Like, this is exactly what we're looking for. Talent tier advantage, up members, and they're going to back out, not overstaying their welcome, and they'll have ultimates up and ready to go, probably for the next fight. Maybe not, as Psistorm is looking for this boss, potentially. Blaze will disengage, but it won't save the fort. Not even close. Both teams are looking for this boss right here. I don't think we're going to see a fight. We might, though, and if there is, boss fight with APOC available is huge. Lots of damage coming out. Dibbles does get chunked. APOC hitting pretty much the entire team of Banshees here. However, all the ultimates are down, and blue team is still decently healthy. I say that, and then Leo goes squish, but will probably trade for the Diablo here. Maybe not, though. Blaze is very healthy and does shut down the Junkrat and the Varian, losing about half his health, but it doesn't matter as he did secure 2 kills. He will pick up this tribute. Meanwhile, the rest of his team will pick up this boss, and we are starting to see the snowball not just get stopped, but pushed up the damn mountain and put into position to go down the other side. This could definitely be a full-blown comeback. Now, while this is probably not going to get sniffed out, I don't think Anduin Greymane will be able to do this fast enough for it to be worth it. Meaning they are going to give this fort for free. To be fair, they are still missing 2. But I feel like they're going to be giving up a lot more than just a fort by not slowing down the siege at all. Sylvanas trait did get value here, allowing the boss to still be quite healthy and push onto this keep. It might be able to get a full front wall, in all honesty. We do have another tribute fight. Psistorm is not willing to do another fight like what they had, but I feel like they're just a little too spread. Like, they can be more spread than CCS can, but not that spread. However, this is a boss pushing onto the core. It does look like it's going to prevent this tribute from going to CCS. But I don't feel like this... Yeah, no, it's not going to break the shield. I definitely feel like CCS won this trade. Usually a boss pushing onto core would be favorable for the team that's doing the pushing, but... Lots of damage onto Pina Colada. I honestly didn't think he was going to make it out of that. But yeah, usually a situation like that would have traded in favor of Psistorm. But I feel like that went quite the opposite. I'll be honest. Pressure is about even. Structures are more or less even at this point. Arrow, big whiff. APOC, big whiff. That's a lot of things, a lot of very important things down. Meaning this is probably just a full disengage. They don't really want to keep fighting this, I don't think. Varian losing a lot of health. That's a big Riptire. Like I said, they do not have the tools they need at the moment. They are all going to get out, though. Fairly healthy, in all honesty. They might still be able to get this. Pina Colada does go down. Varian successfully peeling off of the Greymane. And Hanzo's just going to casually pick up the curse. This does mean that there is a camp pushing in the bot lane. Well, half a camp pushing in the bot lane with curse, which does have to be dealt with. And I love CCS's move here. They're playing aggressive. They're trying to prevent the clearing in the lanes that they pretty much have stuff guaranteed. They're just trying to keep the opponent shut down. They have 20 advantage. Hellgate, big Hellgate, Arrow does go out, stunning 2. There's the bunker. Not sure what it was supposed to dodge, but I guess just to save the Blaze, who was half health. See, they're taking a lot of damage here, but honestly, even if they lose this fight, the fact that it's 5v5 means they're winning, because they're basically guaranteed bot fort by this point. They just want to keep the fight here. Like, this is big wave mid. Now Greymaine's showing mid. They can get aggressive again. Leo's W's down. That's big. Stun onto the Leoric. Pull coming out does save the Leoric, if only barely. Lucio just barely like, everyone's moving by the skin of their teeth. Blaze for Greymane. I feel like that's a favorable trade for CCS, and Varian does go down as well. They do not have health on CCS. They really just should back out here, and they agree. Hanzo just trying to get some free damage in. Leo does not have his escape, being a little too aggressive for not having his escape. Hanzo Arrow does whiff, but Leo whiffs as well, and by whiff, I mean squish. Sylvanas trait does come up, securing most likely this keep. With 3 down on Psistorm, even with this low of health pool, I don't see how they stop this. However, CCS is going to try and play a little safer and back up from the core at this stage of the game. Steal some free XP from the opponent. Makes sense, makes sense. Might see a boss play onto the core. Does look like it. And I feel like they should have the burn to finish this before a fight can break out. I can almost guarantee that Banshee knows this. Now they definitely know it. Nothing they can do, though. Just trying to harass. This is an 18-minute boss pushing onto core. It's probably not going to get core damage. I feel like they have enough burn on Psistorm, but they need everyone there. Which means they can't do anything else. Oh, the poor Banner. Poor Banner went squish. Another boss pickup from CCS. As well as a free curse. What does that mean while you're there? We might see a gank on Leo here. Blue team is going to come in to try and save him. And CCS is going to back up fairly safely. Now, Varian's banner is a huge level 20. Like, I'm not sure how you deal with it other than killing it. And the boss makes it go squish. Never mind. Not relevant anymore. This is probably keep, though. At level 10 was a huge turn for CCS. Big stun onto the Varian. Big entomb, but the Riptire does die. And a lot of damage going out onto the Sylvanas. She goes down. And Psistorm is still pretty healthy at the moment. Unfortunately, flipping into the Lucio. Diablo should be able to get out, and if not, he'll be back up in a few seconds. That's a lot of damage onto 2 members of Psistorm. And they've got catapults in the top lane now. Cores are both exposed. And yeah. This is not going as I thought it did was going to go in the first few minutes. This is still very much anyone's game. We are in the stage of next team fight win takes the game. Almost guaranteed. Diablo is going to stop the rotation, but that's about all he can do. Big high five, but big cursed bullet, and Diablo does go down. Light Bomb does not find a target. Diablo will be back around the same time as Sylvanas. This is probably second tribute for Psistorm here. But maybe not. They can very much get a pick here. And there goes the banner. Big stun onto the Varian. Cursed Bullet misses. That's a lot of damage that's no longer available for Psistorm here. And tons of damage going out. Big pull onto the Varian, saving his life, but he does not have enough health to go back in. Greymane dropping, as does the Leoric, both in the backline of CCS. This is going to be Curse and probably Core for CCS. Junkrat has basically no health. This keep is functionally already dead. They can just flat out ignore it. They can also blow it up if they want to, but yeah, they just decide to ignore it. Lots of damage onto the Junkrat. Big stun, big light bomb, but does not find anyone. Everyone manages to barely walk out of it in time. High fives all around. Lots of curses being eaten by CCS. That might just kill the core push there. Sylvanas is putting so much damage out, but it's not going to be enough. I can't see who it is. Blaze at full health, and that's enough to take game 1 for CCS. Ah, that was that was a stressful start. Meanwhile, my ticker is going to have a seizure here. The winner was picked by blue team. I have the bands wrong, but whatever. And won by red team. Yeah, that's going to be... Oof. Time to pay the winners. Choose prediction outcome. I don't think I did that too early. So let's go ahead and start a prediction. Game 2 winner. So left side's actually... I think I misspelled Banshee. I did. And CCS. Bad jokes. Very bad jokes. But it works. Ta-da! Oh, I forgot to do summary. There we go. I'll go ahead and show the summary for a little bit. Meanwhile, thank you very much, Sepher Mott, for the follow and securing our goal being complete. Welcome to the community. Very glad to have you. That was a very close game. This is going to be a very interesting season. Like I said, just because Banshee is favored does not mean... Did the wrong screen. Does not mean much. Let's go ahead and jump right back into things. Welcome to... I forgot to update. There we go. Welcome to Game 2 in our Best of 3 series, where we have CCS versus Psistorm Banshees. CCS won the coin flip, decided for first pick, which means Psistorm Banshees chose the map we were going to, which was Cursed Hollow. Alterac Pass as well as BOE were both banned out. Sky Temple as well as Tomb of the Spider Queen were also banned out. And now CCS says we're deciding where to go, and decides Infernal Shrines is where it's at. Diablo banned right out of the gate from Psistorm Banshees here. As is Johanna, so we're seeing the tank strangle going on here. Both are solid tank bans for this map, though. Hogger makes sense. Hogger is a very strong pick for this map, if for no other reason than the eternal spinning. Curious if we see anything targeted. The Diablo might have been targeted. Really curious. Do we have anything targeted? Like anything that's obviously targeted. Junkrat. Okay, that's fair. So we got 2 target bans and 2 map bans. I'll take it. Really curious what we see. Chat, please do let me know if they lied to me and the teams are actually not swapped. We do see the first pick blaze yet again. Yeah, no, that was Ace last game, so they did swap. Okay. Thank you for not driving me insane. Alright, Brightwing and Sylvanas. Now, Sylvanas on this map, I will die on that hill. Sylvanas is very strong on this map. If you win the objective, it's a death sentence. If you lose the objective, it's not all that harmful, and she has a decent amount of objective clear. Meanwhile, we have Stukov, another strong pick, and a Tassadar. What do we ban? Continue the tanks, strangle? That's a word. Very curious. And Garrosh. So yeah, we are going to continue the tank strangle. Probably another tank goes out here. Which does mean CCS has their pick of the remaining tanks at this point. We might see an Arthas from one team. Let's see, what other tanks are available at the moment? Varian, okay. So, that's banned out. What other good tanks are left? We might see a Mei. I'm trying to think of what other tanks might work specifically with these playstyles. I really don't know. Find out in a second, though. A Nubarak! Nubarak and Leoric. And Ace is on Leoric. Huriel and Tracer. Not expected at all. Who's on Tracer? Apple Mike is on Tracer. Yeah, no, I wouldn't have guessed this draft. For Psistorm specifically. Blaze Stukov probably could have guessed that. Probably wouldn't have guessed Tassadar, Turiel, or Tracer. Definitely wouldn't have guessed okay, pretty standard comp on... Oh, Jimmy, yeah, Jimmy guessed the Turiel. I would not have guessed the Turiel. I'm not a big fan of the Turiel tank. That's not something I usually appreciate. I know some people like it. I just don't think it brings enough CC or setup, which is kind of what you want from a tank. Well, I'll have to see. I'll have to see how it works out. Anyone want to recall their predictions? Probably not. I'm guessing everyone will stand by their predictions. Alright, well, let's hop into the game here. And so for blue team, which should be CCS, we have Mesos on Anubarak. I Like Summer on, or HT Like Summer on Brightwing. Storm on Sylvanas. Ace on Leoric, and Lamort on Jaina. For the right side, which should be Psistorm Banshees, we have Lunatic on Tassadar, MBB on Tyrael, Toasty Buns on Stukov, Pina Colada on the Blaze, and Apple Mike on the Tracer. On a very cool bike, I might add. Let's go ahead and turn on the talents, because I forgot to do that. Lots of damage onto the tank here. He already popped options. Offlaner's not rotating top as fast as I would have come to expect. Leo, probably a little scared too. Now, I think Leo beats Blaze most of the time, but it's probably a skill matchup. Most Leo matchups are skill matchups. 4-man rotation, and we do have CCS a little ahead on the rotation here, getting disrupted a bit by the Tracer. Does make sense. Jaina has just a ton of wave clear. Now, this is what I was talking about with Tyrael and why I don't like him. I'm not saying that he's bad, but Jaina was a little far up there, and if Anubarak was on the Psistorm team, that might have been a dead Jaina. Probably not. Don't get me wrong. Probably not. But definitely could have been. And Leo does manage to kill Blaze, but probably trades out with Apple Mike here. But will manage to drain enough. Oh, that was close. Mango, if you're in the chat, you'll have to throw me a bone and let me know how this Tracer is. But near as I can tell, pretty damn good. Now, both camps did get picked up in the mid lane here for Psistorm. Swapping teams throwing me off. I might just need to go back to left and right teams. One of the big things I love about the CCS draft is just how much macro potential they have. They have Beetles from Beetle, they have Sylvanas, they have Jaina. Like, there's just a lot of macro potential, specifically Siege, in that team comp. I'm a big fan of Sylvanas Jaina because it gives you the burst and it gives you the sustain, but it also gives you a ton of utility. I just like that combo very much. Like, a lot of people go to the Raynor Jaina, which is pretty textbook, but I don't know, I like the Sylph Jaina a little bit better because Sylph can just stick on people with the slows. You have the burst. Okay, Jimmy, let's be fair to the caster here. She wouldn't, but my point remains. My word, Jimmy. You don't need to be mean to me. You don't need to call me out like that. Tyrael losing a lot of health there, just absolutely chunked. Stukov should be able to get him back up in relatively short order. Clearing so far in favor of Psistorm here. Especially because that camp fight that I was too busy whining to talk about. Brightwing's Z does come in. Clear is about even now. Still very much anyone's fight. Fair bit of damage onto the damage dealers in the bot lane there. Not a whole lot of free damage going out except onto the Leo. Probably isn't enough, however, that is enough to secure Psistorm's first objective of the game. It is a Mortar Punisher, which, if I recall, is the weakest of them currently. Beetle should be able to bait properly, and does. Love seeing proper baits. Something about it makes me so happy. Fair bit of damage onto the Tyrael, but not getting much value there. Front wall does go down. That's about all you can expect from a objective this early in the game. Beetle's dropping very quickly, though, and does go down. Tacidar's level 1 quest is complete. I think that's the auto. Yes. Which, this is very early for that to be completed, especially with as much punishment has been going out onto their team. First fort does go down. Psistorm not giving a single second of breather to CCS here. Yeah, picking up the camp, early fort. This is very similar to what we saw last game, in all honesty. Just a very, very aggressive Psistorm, getting a fair amount of value just across the map, and a lot of pressure building up. CCS has got to keep their cool, just like last game. Looks like they're doing so far. We do have a Z into the top lane. Blaze not really in danger, though. Just stepping back, low on mana. That's about it. However, with Brightwing being forced to walk down, is in a little bit of danger. Might be blown up here. But Psistorm decides well, maybe. Not the Brightwing, but the Jaina going down very quickly, and she does go squish. Nubrak burrows through the walls, just too late to save his mage friend. Here's the early pressure we saw in the last game, like I was saying. But, just like last game, doesn't mean crap. Not a big fan of the Jaina build. I feel like you're not quite playing into her strengths, but it seems to have been working so far, aside from that gank. The physical armor has helped at least a little bit. Big Entomb Stukov in a lot of danger. The shove doesn't find a target, and he does go down. Ace does manage to stay afloat, and there goes the Stukov, probably for the next objective. It'll be tight. Judgment does come out. Cleanse does come out from the Brightwing, but Brightwing cannot pre-cleanse. Lemort in a lot of danger. Brightwing trying so hard to keep Lemort up. Tassadar goes down mid lane, it looked like. Tyrael will go down. Lemort running for her life. Does manage to survive, if only just. Unfortunately, Tyrael went down late in that fight. Otherwise, he might have been able to turn it with his trait. Now, this is probably going to be a relatively uncontested objective, and Leo's just chilling in lane catching XP. Which means we're seeing the tides turn post 10, just like last time. I'm curious about this Tyrael build, because I don't usually play him. A bit of aggression onto the Tracer there. The early death of Stukov is not slowing the roll of Psistorm here, and they're gonna try and bully off the team. Cocoon does stop Stukov from healing for a little bit, but he will be back in short order. Both teams still chilling pretty healthy. Objective progress is about even. Ice block is completed for the Jaina here. Entomb does go out. Blaze does bunker it. Judgment does go out onto the Sylvanas, it looks like. And she's losing a lot of health, trying desperately to stay alive, but she will go down. Objective still completely even at this point. Ace is trying to run for his life. This will probably be a Psistorm objective, but Jaina could perceivably poke it, but will not successfully poke it down, securing Psistorm's second objective. I honestly thought that objective was pretty much completely into CCS's hands. Leo, on the other hand, will go down in the top lane. Blaze not having a whole lot of mana to siege, but will instead just siege with his body. There goes the fort in the bot lane. Though the fights have definitely turned the tides, Psistorm does not care in the slightest. Immortal will go down here, it looks like. Yeah, Arcane. Arcane I still find pretty strong. Not as strong as it was, but it's still a significant threat. This does mean that the next one will be a Frozen Punisher in the top lane, which is going to be serious bad news if CCS cannot secure it. Aggression coming out from Psistorm here. Gonna try and steal this camp yet again. CCS does not seem to want to let them. Judgment did come out. Cocoon as well. Neither one finding a ton of value. I thought that was buried alive for a second, but no, there's another silence. I don't know where the... Oh, the Sylvanas. Leo will go down yet again. Lots of damage, just kind of spread all over the place. Both these healers can deal with it for the most part. This will be the camp for Psistorm here. Honestly, unless they can secure an objective, I don't see CCS managing to pull this back. They've been on the back foot pretty much the entire game. They've won a few fights, but not long enough to get any objectives. Jaina does go for the shield talent at 13, which makes sense. She was in a fair amount of danger most of the game. Aside from that, nothing really of note. Yeah, it doesn't look... Oh, untouchable. We have an untouchable from the Tracer. That's unusual. I mean, to be fair, if you're dying, you're doing it wrong. That's the case for almost any hero. But still, untouchable puts a pretty major target on your head. Might have a bush gank here. Double stun onto the Tracer, who does recall somewhere. Cocoon went out and was immediately burned. Unfortunate, but the bush gank did not succeed. Judgment does come out. The stasis did come out from the Jaina. She did manage to chill pretty much everyone with that. She manages to shield out the majority of the bomb. Psistorm still pretty healthy aside from Tyrael. We're just going to back out for free. And like I said, so this is going to be a Frozen Punisher in the top lane. Which I don't... Oh, there is still a front wall. But still, a Frozen Punisher is a serious death sentence for CCS here. They have to win this. I don't see how they survive this objective on the defensive without winning this objective. Ultimates coming up for CCS here. Psistorm chilling, just taking it slow, picking up camps. Not really stepping onto the objective too aggressively yet. And CCS scared to step up. They do back out here. They've got to get on this objective. You can't win the objective if you play this far away from it. A little bit of damage coming onto CCS here. Stun does go out onto the Blaze. Tyrael walking into the back line, losing a lot of health quickly, and does go down. CCS has a lot of low health bars. They lose Leoric. Wailing Arrow comes out, silencing the Blaze. That is 1 for 1 at the moment. Still very much anyone's game. Resources still available for CCS as well as Psistorm. Lots of health bars going down for CCS here. Blaze, however, going down quicker than the enemy health bars. Tracer goes down as well, resetting that untouchable. Tassadar still gonna poke a bit. That's a lot of damage that cannot be ignored by Psistorm. But he will not do it for free, and he will lose a lot of health there. And he did go down. He just kind of teleported him on my screen. He just vanished. So Psistorm seems to be taking advantage of the wipes just to reset and come back on, but they aren't going to be able to do this time, as this is a full 20 seconds they cannot fight This is going to be a Frozen Punisher pushing on to top lane. This is only going to be a fort, unfortunately. But it's probably going to be a relatively free fort. All the while, Leo's going to be double soaking, trying to reset the map and pressure. I think Tyrael can bait. I know he doesn't have an unstoppable, but... Oh, nice stun from the Anubarak, guaranteeing the jump onto him. Good silence, though, trying to prevent the engage. That was a very good series of strong plays. Towers are shut down. Sylvanas can follow up that shutdown. Big leap onto 2! That's a lot of damage onto the enemy backline here. Structures will get shut down again, Sylvanas not needing to use her trait yet. They do lose the fort, but only have half health on their Punisher and decide to take it easy. However, Psistorm is not willing to just take it easy and will instead Judgment in. Tyrael losing a lot of health will go down. Trait not finding anyone, that's pretty big. Entomb is down. Sylvanas, though, very low. Tracer is going to back out, trying not to trade 1-for-1 with the Sylvanas. A 1-for-0 trade is huge for CCS here. Ronan, welcome to the chat. A little bit of aggression coming out here, but it makes absolute sense with both a Sylvanas and an Anubarak. They can just kind of chill here for days without sieging if they don't want to. Sorry, needed to drink some water there. I did just realize I forgot to turn the music back on. There we go. Things should be slightly more interesting. What? Oh, I didn't accept. There we go. Sorry about that. I don't know why, but the music hotkey doesn't work anymore. Unless it's Alt-M? Nope. Yeah, no, music hotkey doesn't work anymore. Fair bit of free damage going on both sides, but should be healed up just fine. We're really starting to see the strength of that Sylvanas Anubarak combo. Stealth not currently getting much value. I've seen some 6 stealth plays, and at the very least it stops a few autos. Little bit of aggression coming out from Psistorm here. CCS returning set aggression. Cocoon does go out, immediately burned. Buried Alive does go out onto the Tyrael, who does manage to walk out, if only just. Bunk getting burned immediately as well. Big stun onto the Tyrael, but he does manage to get out. Lots of almosts going out here. CCS is in a significantly worse place than Psistorm, but they definitely can pressure this game into their favor still. Oh, Leo get ganked in the top lane. Didn't see that. However, should have, because once again, Psistorm's favorite camp gets stolen. Or his favorite camp to steal gets stolen. Bottom lane objective, not ideal for CCS here, especially with Leo down. This should... Oh, this could be any. I think it's Arcane? I forget which shrine is which. Blaze does get the stun onto Sylvanas, but it is all for naught, pretty much. Immediately getting healed through all that damage. Everyone walking off the objective. Tyrael dropping very quickly. Big stun onto the Tyrael. Lots of damage going out onto the Tassadar, and he does go down. Tyrael trait does go out, decreasing everyone's damage, but it's not going to be enough as it's already worn off, and Stukov goes down as well. That is a 3-man kill for CCS. meaning they pretty much secure this objective, but top has to be dealt with, and it looks like Leo has been dispatched to do just that. Blaze might be able to secure this keep, though. Their duels have been pretty close all game, with either one going down. And keep is saved. Nicely done, Leo. I was right. Arcane Punisher pushing in through the bot lane. Only really useful if you were fighting under it, which unfortunately does not seem like it's going to be the case. Towers do get shut down by the Sylvanas. Top keep does go down. Leo a little annoyed by the Tracer. Oh, does he see this? Very nice. He's just trying to prevent the Hearth at this point. And it looks like he's going to do just that. Meanwhile, in the bot lane, the siege is going to continue. Arcane Punisher doing a fair amount of damage to the entire enemy team, but Stukov should be able to keep them up. And it looks like he's doing just that. Jump does go out, stun from the Anubarak, another stun from the Anubarak. Unfortunately, they were not overlapped enough, and the bunker did come out, saving the Blaze of Life. Cocoon comes out, no one really to burn it. Shove does not find a target. Jump does continue to harass the Blaze, and Turiel does go down, as did the Tracer. Leo, I don't know about that, Sir Leo. This is a Punisher onto the core. Blaze does go down, and I think another... Okay, Tassadar just keeps vanishing. He doesn't die, he just flat out vanishes. However, this will be yet another game for CCS. Well done to you guys. Let me go ahead and update that. That was a very nice game. It was a very close series. Teams were both mean to me, but what does that matter? Let's go ahead and look at the talents for a minute. Alex T-Rex, thanks for joining us. DCS indeed won. Does remind me I need to choose prediction outcome. DCS, complete prediction. All right, let me go ahead and get us finished and ready for the interview here. Hello.
Hello.
That was one heck of a series.
Yeah, that was. It really was. From my perspective, I felt like I got immeasurably carried, but it feels really good that even with some the missteps, like as a team, we really came really strong. I feel like both of those two late games.
Yeah, for sure. So, speaking of, I really wanted to talk about how you guys managed to keep your cool, especially on that first game. Because I was talking a lot about morale, because, like, if you guys lost there, that would have been the series. There's no mentally coming back from that. How did you guys manage to keep your cool, losing that much core health that early in the game?
That's a good question. I really like that angle. So there's a couple of things to note here. One is that I think it's important to recognize that CCS3, the Citrus Colored Squash, like we're friends first and foremost. And I think that's an important part of our team identity, is that we really enjoy playing together. And so morale, even though it was pretty shaky at that moment, we were still doing our thing, and we knew what we were supposed to do. We'd actually been practicing over the weekend about this specific idea that like, hey, like how we want to play objectives and stuff, and we've been doing that right. And so, all of that being said, like I think you're right. It really was a crucial morale moment, and I think really this sounds so corny, but it's the power of friendship that really allowed us to not like tilt out of our minds, out of our gourds, you might say.
Yeah, no, that is more than fair. I just wasn't sure if there was anything specific going on in comms, like, hey, we have better 10s or anything along those lines.
No, you know what? Comms were just pretty much more of the same. It was just like, yeah, we can still do this. Like, let's just like stay sharp. We can do this. We don't get. I think we get angry sometimes when we make mistakes, but overall, like, we like playing together, and I think that's what allows us to look past sometimes some people's egregious mistakes, like mine in this games.
Very fair, very fair. I have had those situations for sure. So I was a little curious how you guys felt about the draft in Game 2, because it was a little unusual it was a little unusual and very much not telegraphed. Like, it was very clear you guys didn't see it coming, so I was a little curious how things were going in the planning terms and stuff when you saw the Tyrael Tracer.
Yeah. I don't know if you got to see it. To me, it felt like an HGC draft with this Tyrael, Tracer, Tassadar. They're going for the double support from 2017. Yeah, it definitely wasn't telegraphed, and I don't think we were too worried about it because we had an idea of how we wanted to play this map.
Okay.
What we wanted to have happen. Granted, it didn't begin with us losing 3 forts and then coming back to power through and win.
Fair, very fair.
Yeah, and the combination was frankly pretty annoying. To be, for the Tyrael to Judgment in and the Tracer to follow up well. That showed off some great communication from their team.
Oh yeah.
I think that we'd previously though talked about how we wanted to respond to that. I think with the polymorph from the Brightwing, Summer did an excellent job of doing that both on the Tyrael and the Tracer when they dove in. And the Jaina defensive tools were actually really strong to allow Lemort to hit insane routes that allowed us to set up to get a lot of really good counter kills.
Yeah, speaking of the early forts, how did you guys handle the fact that you never managed to get your own bruiser camp? It was always stolen from you guys. Like, that's gotta be frustrating, right?
Yeah, I think it was. I think it definitely was annoyance. I don't know if it was frustration. I think it was probably more frustrating on that first game when they came in and invaded the bruisers on the cursed hollow game. But on that one, that one doesn't actually do a ton of push if you just respond to it. So it's more like a denial. But luckily, we were able to keep the macro up well. I mean, a shout out to Ace in the top lane. He got, I think, solo kill on Blaze, and then a solo kill on Tracer in the end. And both of those 2 kills were actually really impactful for our team's momentum. I mean, the kill on Blaze in the early game put us just a little bit ahead on the macro that we needed. And then that final kill on Tracer really was what allowed us to put the nail in the coffin there and end the series.
Yeah. So, I don't really have any other questions, but I definitely want to mention that this is definitely a testament to keeping a cool head. Like, if you guys did not keep your cool while they were just building that snowball and just rolling over you in the first 10 levels, like, most teams would have just fallen apart. So that in and of itself is a testament to your guys' communication and friendship, and just, I love seeing teams keep their cool through what probably felt like literal hell in the moment.
Yeah, game 1 was for a lot of game 1 was a little bit of like, when I had died 4 times, I was like, oh my gosh, go next for me. Game 2, not so much. Like I think we do a fine job of keeping track of like what the position of the game is, and knowing that like we are a strong team and we could come back and take that. But I think a testament to friendship is, as corny as it is, it really is like, it's a pleasure playing with the Gourds. And I think we came out and put on a good show for all the fans out there.
It was definitely a good show. Like, yeah. As much as I try and stay neutral, game 1, like before 10, I was like, I don't see how they come back from this, because I just didn't think you guys would be able to keep your cool as well as you did, and I didn't quite value the 10s as much as I should have. So, like, that was... You guys surprised me, and I am very pleased to be surprised.
We're glad to hear that. We love to entertain.
Well, without further ado, I will leave it for shoutouts then.
Yeah, shout out to Banshees. They had our backs against the wall for this series. It definitely was a great set of games. We're glad to have come up on the upper hand, though. That's in no short part to the amazing team that we have. Shout out to Misos, excellent captain, helping us stay organized, keeping everything in tip-top shape for us. Shout out to Ace and Lamort. They're our dynamic duo who does most of the work of the team. Shout out to the CCS organization, and last and certainly not least, actually most, shout out to Summer, our healer and best HOTS player in NGS. And shout out to you. We appreciate the cast. It's fun, and I appreciate having the chance to process our games. Thanks.
Yeah, you're very, very welcome. Well, I will leave you to it then. That was a really good series, and good luck in the rest of the season. But like I said, I'm going to go ahead and call it there. Let me go ahead and hop back to the pregame here. Thank you guys for joining me. Thank you very much to Lamort for the follow, pushing us just barely over that goal. I honestly didn't think we'd hit it as fast as we did between 4 days ago and today. Lots of follows. Thank you all very, very much for it. It makes me feel great. And I will definitely be keeping this up. I've loved this season so far. This honestly has probably been my favorite season to cast, even though I've only cast 2 games. So, like I said, I will leave it there. Great series, and good luck to everyone, players and not players, for the... yeah, good luck to players and not players for the season. And I'll see you all next time.